personal thing. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. So, you currently have how many years of experience?
So it's my 23 years of experience
Oh,
now. I
okay.
started in
I was
2000.
thinking you are like 17, 18 or something, but you are also very close to what Ravindra is. Like he's like 4 years more than you.
Yeah, I started in 2002, my career in Computer Factory as a desktop support engineer, 1 year, and then 1.5 years in CMS there was company called CMS, and I started working in Taj West End Hotel as a novel engineer there, maintaining that you see the test screens of hotel may they log and they'll get a printout in the. So there I used to work as a novel and desktop support engineer, and also like a backup tape engineer. Like I used to back up all the data from the from the novel database and then tape it and then print out in the morning, so that people can check out, check in, all those things. So there I worked for almost 3 years, in almost 2.5 years, 3 years in CMS, and then I moved to HP. In HP, I was almost spent 10 years now completed. There I started with an VMware L2 engineer, then moved as an VMware L3 engineer, and I was part of service delivery manager for an year, but I was not able to cope up with a lot of people areas, and I was more into technical, but that people touch, having one-to-one discussion, I think that I never enjoyed much. And then I just thought of, okay, not really, I'm liking this service delivery manager, more on personal management and people management, all those things. Then I moved as a VMware architect and data center in HP. There I worked for a few years. Then I joined Mercedes-Benz to lead one of the US region, basically. I started in the VMware area. Then I started as a technical architect for backup storage. Started recruiting people in Bangalore location, starting operating it, and from 1 or 2 people, we started having 10, 15 people, and started working on the complete US locations, like their trucks, US car locations, MBUSA, MBRD, and a lot of US locations. We started work, and finally, we were almost 50 to 60 people in a year. That was the progress we did, and finally, what happened is we said, okay, let's take all the locations into Bangalore as an operations of following ITL process. And I was a technical architect for US at least. No, for other region, there were other people. And I started moving all the operations, went there, KT sessions, river shadow, go live, all those things happened with the project manager, leads, and everything. Worked with stakeholders there during that time, presenting the strategies, how we go with the shadow, all those things, and working on monitoring, tooling strategies, backup, network, all those areas on a high level, and then start presenting to the other people, and then talking to management, understanding the revenue side, financial aspects little bit, but more on the technical aspect there. And then started slowly putting up all the people here, making shifts, all those arrangements. And suddenly, I think after 2 years, that COVID hit us, and then I was able to move to Portland, US, there to take care of that big location of data center. But yeah, it went hit, and I had visa everything, but I was not able to go there. And there was a 1 year transition to Infosys period. That period happened, and again back KT to Infosys, everything happened. Good thing is I was part of one of the cloud project also, where it was mainly used IoTs and picking up the data from IoTs and then placing it in a storage and then doing some analyzations and finally give the dashboard to the business stakeholders. Where that was the opportunity I started getting into Azure. And also I worked a little bit on DevOps on that part of time. On the DevOps, CI/CD, I was managing the operation side, but not really on the technical side. So this was then not moved to Infosys, and then I moved to a data engineering project called something called Extello. We have it where we have Databricks, we have Azure Data Analytics and Azure Data Lake, all those areas. I mainly work as a senior solution architect here to set up the platform like CI/CD strategies, what type of hotfix strategies we should have, what type of observability platform we should have, what is a FinOps model we should have. I worked recently from 1.5 years on FinOps framework and CI/CD strategies and hotfix strategies and some of the observability strategies, how we have to take Prometheus, Grafana, where do we need to monitor all those areas and start building this entire platform, but not really into data. I want to get into a data engineering side, but not able to get into it. But yeah, at least something on that. And now from last 3 months, trying to understand AI and how it is really impacting the business, and also being part of some of the jury members in AI use cases and all, and working with it. So good thing is little aspects of everything I have been there, but not able to be a domain expert at this point of time. I'm not sure it is required or not, but getting into trying to management side, but really not happening at a certain time because they say you move in technical, and that's what I'm hearing. It's almost 6 years in the same senior solution architect position because this is product oriented companies. There will be like it is something like a triangle. Like you will not be able to go top until unless you show an extreme of technology or extreme innovation side or extreme hard work side, something like that. I'm not able to, I think, struck at certain point now. I want to be something like an enterprise solution architect in the future, where I can look from the CTO angle. I know it's all different positions, but at least looking from business side and want to move out of this organization at this some point of time because it's more than 9 years now. I'm moving to 10 years in next few months, but I would like to move out and take some really a business technology position where I can manage my under some senior solution architects and goals, achieve strategies, all those angles, which I think I that's what I'm expecting and trying to understand from you and how can I go from here to the next level. I know there's a lot of gap there, both on the technical and management side, but definitely I need to patch it up now and move towards it.
Yeah, I think that's a good point because when you're stuck in your career, either you should make a move laterally within the company if there are good opportunities, or maybe look for something outside so that you get what you're worth in the market. Otherwise, you stagnate, and then that also has an effect on your self-esteem. And after a period of time, like you become very status quo kind of thing. Like you will not feel the urge also to move sideways or upwards, and that impacts your career, your status, all of those things.
Yeah.
So what we can do is typically I've got all of these programs where I'm coaching a lot of other guys on all similar kind of problems that you mentioned. How to have visibility in the organization, how to come up with some innovative ideas, how to present stuff well, how to articulate in front of the top management, how to present it to business stakeholders, how to present to client stakeholders, how to write thought papers, for instance, how to make impactful presentations, how to create technology roadmaps, product roadmaps, and then also how to get more visibility in your organization by doing something, like even if it's like a one-page flyer that you put out on something, some topic, or once a month you just make a presentation on something, and you are involved in a pre-sales pitch or with the client directly or indirectly. So all of those things improve your visibility, so that this guy is like, they know that he is to be looked up for higher roles and things like that. So I'll just suggest you a lot of things based on our discussions that we carry forward, and you'll get a lot of access to recorded sessions. So I'll just show you what I mean by that. So typically you'll get
Now one thing I was going over your LinkedIn profile also.
yeah.
Like you are talking about strategy, you are talking about data, you're talking about AI, you're talking about, I think, mental fitness, you're talking about so many things across which connects everything. But how are you able to pick all these things and then showing as a big picture, or how do you grasp these things together into a single bucket? And I think, yeah, it's your talent. I'm not saying no, but I was really surprised to see those type of everything because we see people talking one technology, one domain, but you had a lot of things across and you're talking everything in the market, which is really important. I was really surprised to see that.
Yeah, I think that's also because from the beginning I've been focusing on whatever is important for leadership kind of topics. And so I have been listening to YouTube videos, I've been attending tech talks, I've been listening to thought leaders on LinkedIn from a long time. And since my Infosys days, in fact, I was in Infosys, they sent me for TOGAF training. And
Hmm.
at that time, there were others who applied and then said, you guys will not make any use of TOGAF. Even if you teach TOGAF, you will not make any use. That's what they told them, I believe. So I was like, when I told it I want TOGAF, then my manager approved it, and the head of the department also approved it, like just very quickly without much of questions. So I think it is because I was taking part in those kind of interactions and trying to get that visibility. So I was trying to take new portfolios. So for instance, as you said, like if you get bored with the same thing in the company, for some time I did operating database center of excellence. I managed that. Then after a year or two, I got bored with that. I was like, okay, what next I should do? So I took up operating systems center of excellence also to my portfolio to make it interesting, because my job was
Uh,
becoming very,
uh,
very boring. The same thing, same client, same vendor management people you meet, same problems. So of course, some problems are new, but then it was not very exciting. So then I took to make my role more interesting and things like I was taking more on my plate. Actually, not a good strategy if you ask me that way in terms of, but to make it more interesting, I was like, I used to overwork and then take more stuff on my plate so that at least I'm feeling challenged that I'm doing something worthwhile, so that and then I used to be in front of different people. So that's I think that's how it shaped my own. My main reason I would say is to get rid of my own boredom. I took up many things and started learning in different things. So that was the main primary trigger point for that, and eventually it helped me know so much about new things.
But
And
Kiran, one thing, like when we start this new project, right? For example, I started with cloud. See, at certain angle, we'll not be able to get into an implementation phase because we are not engineers. Like, go ahead and start deploying it in a Python. Because I'm not a code Python guy, or I'm not a coding guy.
correct.
I work morely on the strategy aspect, business. I'm interested more on that, but not really on the Python program because now I cannot go and compete with the people who are just passed out engineers with the coding part and all. I cannot do that. Learning, I'm interested in the both on the business and technical angles and what problem can be solved, but not really in the implementation side where I go and deploy it and see how we can do. And I feel with 23 years of
You don't
experience,
need
I
to do
should
that.
not do it also.
Above 16, 17, 18 years, unless you like that thing, you don't have to do it. There are various
Yeah,
ways in which you can survive looking at the big picture and connecting the dots. And if you do that well, then companies are there to pay you
yeah.
quite well and connect the dots. So you shouldn't be even doing that. So yes, yeah, that is the point. You don't have to know all of those nitty-gritty details, which implementation engineer or somebody with 3 to 4 years experience will do, but you should know the overall big picture and how things connect up. And not just that knowing stuff, you should know also how to articulate it well to your management. No, like you, if you're able to take bigger problems and say, okay, this is what we're going to do, this is how we're going to solve, and then they get the confidence. Okay, we can entrust this guy with driving stuff. He will get us the results. So if you keep showing that and polishing your skills that way, I think you will definitely push yourself into a leadership position, and definitely opportunities will come to you. So that's what my experience has been also. And yeah, at times I was like, as you said, why am I scattering my energies in multiple different places also? But it was purely because of boredom, I would say, on the job, and to make my role more interesting, I did that. But eventually it helped me because I'm able to carry a conversation, and opportunities came my way. Like if you'd be surprised, although I'm not a cybersecurity guy, Gartner sent me an inbox on LinkedIn saying that please, we want to interview for the position of senior director cybersecurity practice. They interview because I wrote one or two white papers on security by researching again, by learning it and doing stuff. So that way a lot of things just open up. So once you're curious and you have that passion to find out things, so people come to you, opportunities come to you, and I think that's the reason why Gartner also inboxed me. But I was doing all of these things, and I didn't want to go back to a regular job again. So it's been almost 10, 12 years I'm into this mentoring consulting kind of a
That's
mode.
good.
And so with God's grace, I would say my basic needs are satisfied. So I don't have any such major commitments that would be there. Apart from, of course, the kids are there and all that, so they're growing up.
Yeah.
But still, I think God has been very kind, I would say, to help me do this
That's good.
sort of stuff, what I'm doing. And yeah, I think that is how it is. And I'll definitely polish you so that you are open for such opportunities and you are able to leverage on them and and cash either within HP or outside, whatever it happens. So today I got a guy just before you called me. I was mentoring another guy who's got three job offers. So one is a support role, one is a solution architect role, and one is a head of engineering solution architecture kind of role. So he's confused which to take and all that. So I was telling him a lot of strategies on how to do that. And then he said, yeah, wow, this is awesome. Like he didn't, he was saying, I don't have anybody out there to tell me which one to take because he's got all three right now with him. and he really doesn't know which one to pick and choose. And so he said this mentoring is really helpful because it's so personalized, and that sort of stuff. So I think that's where you are also, presume, and given your skills, I think you should be able to easily. What's your current role? You're a solution architect, is it currently?
Senior solution architect,
Solutions
majorly
architect.
on cloud and DevOps platform.
Okay.
But data is our platform basically, but not really into data at this point of time. But I have fair understanding how it goes, how it works, finally how it analytics works, and finally how it gets into a visualization part. I am aware of that process, but not really in the SQL or in the Python or on the data pipeline, or not on that level expert. But at least because I am a platform engineer, like basically I am more interested on platforms. I mean, when I say because we are on VMware, we were working on NSX. So earlier when I started with cloud journey also, I'm more into infrastructure as a code I like, and the platform as a service I like. Platforms like Kubernetes, like AKS, how to manage those I like, but not really on the software architecture or application side. I am aware how it works in a front business layer and all, but not really into the software architecture or on the API angle or on the coding level. Not much into it because not exposed much because of my previous experience. And this is where I also was a TOGAF certified 9 point or something. But really, what happened is TOGAF we never used much. We did a certification, okay, and I was working in an architect team. We used only for requirement summary, LLD, HLD, and some of the RFPs. But really, the whatever the other domains are there in TOGAF, really we were not able to apply somewhere or use it. Or can we apply it? I think after coming to Mercedes product-oriented company, it went totally. That also vanished. No TOGAF, nothing. Okay, only we
I think
use something.
more
Yeah.
than that is what I would say is the mindset that you get, no, by doing that certification. So once you do the TOGA thing, it exposes you to a lot of bodies of knowledge, wherein how to position yourself for certain scenarios, how to have the architect's mindset. So those
Mm,
things only an experienced guy can tell you how to look at those things. But if you have that clarity, and if you bring that clarity in discussions, no, with your stakeholders in your meetings, and while you're presenting stuff, then they know that okay, this guy is much more than the certification, so he'll be able to drive stuff. So if you bring that clarity on the table by means of these kind of exchanges, that we have, and you should be able to position. And as a part of this, I'll actually help you to how to polish your resume, how to polish your LinkedIn, so
yeah.
that it, because a lot of people, they aspire for big things, but apparently their resume talks about something which is taking them down, so they are in a place where it is not conveying the real picture that
Mm,
I want to actually do that. So I actually polish the resume also, so that it reflects the maturity for the role that you're applying. Because there are people who come to me, and they are applying for a senior architect role, or CIO, CTO, CISO kind of a role,
mm,
or principal architect role, but they're or some of them want to get into architecture roles, but their profiles actually talk about an operational role. So they're still saying that they've done operations, like, so how do you connect the dots? And of course, they know parts of it, but with a little bit push, they should be able to, get into that orbit about
mm,
how to explain things architecturally, how things actually connect, that sort of stuff. So this is typically the thing that I was talking about, wherein you get, the recorded
mm.
sessions,
Yeah.
so with various people and all the topic modules which are there. So yeah, I'm mentoring different guys on different things.
Mm,
So typically, how do you, for instance, this guy's a data architect, he wants to become a data director. So how does he go from that? So actually, this you'll get a lot of inputs as a part of this one. So each video is like a lot of inputs that you get in terms of how to tackle these kind of questions that you get in
mm.
your interviews. For
Okay.
apart from what I coach you, and so it will have a lot of meaning and clarity about how to present these things. And I'll also be sharing a lot of white papers and a lot of templates for you to use, so that you can showcase all of this in your job and get the
Okay.
visibility, you know, that sort of stuff. So basically, it is about those things, and it's actually, as you said, it's much more powerful than the other CTO programs that companies are offering typically, and charging 6 to 7 lakh rupees. They're charging 6 to 7 lakh rupees for the same kind of thing, and it's not one-on-one. So then I'll actually be also having 2 to 3 Zoom calls with you. You can actually come back on whatever problems you're facing within the company. Like, let's say you're applying for a new role, either in HP or outside. You send me the roles and responsibilities, and you can actually do that, and then we can discuss what makes sense for that, and I'll grill you on how to approach those companies well, and how you can actually crack those interviews. And once that maturity is there, so you can actually start applying for bigger roles, and you should be able to easily attack the thing. So that way it will become a lot more easier for you to convey what you actually have at hand, and what you need to do. So once you are in that situation, you can actually do much more on those lines. So for instance, like, I'll just tell you, this is a guy who came with me just today, and so he was like, he had all these 3 different offers. So one is a senior advisor, then there's another solution architect reporting to group head solution architecture. Then so basically he wanted clarity on each of these points, and then once we aligned his aspirations with what was there, then he became okay, this is what exactly I wanted, and this is what aligns with my career aspirations, and he was quite happy with that. So I'll coach you on each of these points, whichever is required for your stuff, and so that you are confidently able to crack those interviews.
Okay. Kiran, one question, like for example, right now I'm a senior solution architect, maybe some exposure on the cloud area and DevOps area. It's your program says like I think I'll get more exposure, I know, but how do I say that I'm good at this senior solution architect level now after going over this, and then I can move to enterprise architect, or is it better to move towards an techno management role, or how do we, because at this stage, right, we are working towards the business, but not really on the financial aspect. People management, I am some experiences there, but really not sure that how my path should go. Because in the product management, what happens is in product companies like Mercedes-Benz now, which I'm working, it's not complete in-depth technical, neither in-depth management, right? It's somewhere like on the surface area we will be working where we are not sometimes not sure that okay where I have to pitch in, right? And sometimes that confusion will be there. And technology area in the product companies like this, it's something like stop at certain angle, like senior solution architect, and then we don't have much enterprise architect roles, frankly speaking, because German will take care 1 or 2 positions where they will handle it from the top area. But I'm not saying that knowledge is waste in senior solution architect. That is really important. But at certain angle, whether to move out, definitely I need to look some of these like VP roles or director roles or CTO or whatever it is roles, CXO roles, or what is that I need to do because of 23 years of thing. I cannot get as a senior solution. I attended multiple interviews previous to this. Senior solution architect, they say, okay, cloud, but they're not ready to pay me so much as I'm paid now in Mercedes-Benz. Like they say, oh, it's too much of salary, or we are not seeing into that level of salary, which is also a concern to me. Like because Mercedes-Benz every year they give 6 or 7% of hike, and they'll make you to sit in this organization permanently, where we will not be able to move out also.
You will not be able to get out from there.
Get out of this, and this is where I'm stuck now. Even if I attend interviews, this is where I'm stuck now. Like they say, okay, you are too much, but your CV doesn't talk about all these areas, which we are looking to pay more from your current salary. I think so. That's why I just thought, okay, let me discuss this also with you and how to move on that.
Yeah,
In
so
the
actually, I will,
yeah.
yeah, I'll definitely help you with that part of which I'm actually doing for another guy. So he is also similar kind of situation. He's stuck and he's not able to attract those senior leadership positions even within the company. So they've offered him head of innovation, head of product development, and something else. So he wants to choose which of them, but he should be showing those skills what are required for those things. So what I'll tell you and expose you to is, given your knowledge of what you carry forward, I'll be able to seamlessly help you navigate the big picture and say, although you spend most of your time as a senior solution architect in the cloud in one particular area and platform and stuff like that, how to leverage that experience and look at the whole big picture of the business,
Yes.
whatever entity it is. And then how do you connect the business data, application, technology parts? How do you do the solution design? How do you evaluate various architectures? You may not have all the answers in your fingertips, but I will
Definitely.
tell you how you can use Gen AI techniques and how you can do effective Googling and get the answers on your stuff. So people don't want you to know everything, but they want you to play a leadership role wherein you are able to actually provide guidance to members, and even if you're able to connect the dots and draw the big picture, because they want you to see the picture and convey that to the team members. So with your knowledge, I'll tell you how you can actually do that sort of stuff, even if you don't have all the answers on your plate, but still you can drive things and drive it intelligently. And if they are able to do that, companies are ready to pay you, whatever you ask and stuff like that. So I will definitely tell you how to look at solution design, how to look at solution architecture, how to translate whatever you have in your thought process currently in an architecture mindset fashion. Like how do you present it, not just as an operational guy, not just as a platform guy, I'm saying, okay, these are, but the big picture of how does it look like, how do you articulate that stuff? So for instance, if you're talking to a developer, he'll say, okay, what is the problem that you guys are trying to fix? He'll say, I'm actually trying to interface from this application to that application, and it is giving 404 internet error, and this is the core stack dump trace and all that sort of stuff. But as an architect, when you're presenting it to the senior management or as a director or VP, if you're telling the same problem to them, you should be saying that, okay, the finance module is the payments module is having an issue with the core banking loyalty systems, wherein after the credit card swipe, the message interface is failing to validate it, and because of which we are getting an error and we're trying to debug it. The same issue, look at the way in which one guy is presenting it at the higher level of abstraction, and there's another guy at the operational level, he's telling the same thing. So if you are able to convey that level of abstraction to your management and to your business stakeholders, you will be respected a lot in your work, and you automatically opportunities will come to you, and you should be different league altogether, able to connect the dots, and that will happen over a period of time with what I'm doing. So there was a guy who joined me with very shaky fundamentals, like initially from Switzerland, just as a consultant. But during the program, the course of the mentoring, he got two hikes in his company, and now he's aspiring to retire as a CTO in his company. So he's saying, I myself was shocked. I was like, he'll do well, he'll do reasonably okay, but not to this level that his confidence is boosted that now he wants to retire as a CTO in his company. He's saying, I'm able to drive discussions, I'm able to drive stuff with whatever picture you told me and how to look at things. And that is helping me connect the dots. And definitely with your experience with 20 plus, 23 plus, you should be able to do much, much more, stuff like that. So I can definitely help you with that.
Fine, Kiran. I think that's what. But the recordings are whatever you said, right? That will help me out, or the discussions which we have like this.
Both. The
Both, yeah.
recordings are only, so recordings are there only for you to, when you watch one or two in a week or whenever you're free. But the personal one-on-one, so even what I'm talking to you will be a recording in that after some time. Your face will be masked and your name will be changed so that nobody knows, and you'll not be taking any company names in that. Only the concepts. How do I address this? How do I address that? How do I present this? So that way people will learn from your experience. You can learn from others' experience. So monthly, you can have up to 2 to 3 Zoom calls based on whatever queries that you've got. You send me a bunch of them either on WhatsApp or on email, at least 3-4 days in advance. These are the kind of issues that I'm facing. And I'll also tell you where you stand in terms of your weakness and strengths and what is that you need to project yourself. And I'll tell you strategies on how to conquer that.
Fine. Understood. Okay, Kiran.
Anything else?
I think that's it. I think, but how much efforts I need to put now? Let's say, for example, I started from today or tomorrow, whatever is how many days?
You watch every day half an hour or 1 hour video on that, and then you come to know. You send me whatever your dream companies are with your dream roles and responsibilities that you find that this is where I want to apply. This is where I want to do. Send me the list of those, cut paste of those roles and responsibilities. I will grill you on that and ensure that you are answering those confidently, and also share you material and videos on how to polish those particular points. And once you are able to say those things confidently, you'll become a magnet for employment opportunities.
Understood. Fine,
Yeah.
Kiran.
And I'll also help you clean up your LinkedIn also, because LinkedIn is very important these days. No matter how good your resume is, people
Hmm.
just go Google search and see, okay, what is this guy's LinkedIn? What does he say? LinkedIn is like, some guys are not so very professionally written. So that also I'll do. And of course, these days there are, even if you have not done a good job of LinkedIn, referrals are also very important. So if you are able to catch hold of somebody in a leadership position in some company, so even if you may not be good in all the areas, they'll still take you. So they may not look at your LinkedIn and all in such cases. But I will help you, cover all those areas.
Okay, fine. I think I was just, you're right. I think, but one thing is, I think you understood where I am now. To the next level, I'm not sure what is fits at this point of time, but yeah, definitely I'm aspiring to that. Whatever the next
I'll tell
level
you
or
the pros
looks.
and cons of each role, what is expected and stuff like that, so that you can short circuit that level of thinking from your side. You don't have to this thing, but
Mm.
yeah, you have to come up with what you're interested in, what is your aspiration for the next 3 years, 4 years, what kind of roles you're looking at. Look at those role profiles and send it to me, and then we'll discuss.
Yeah, Kiran, one thing is I'm just looking like, for example, Gen AI architect. At least I'm something like an intermediate between a business and also an technology, right?
Yeah. So, but to Gen
That
AI
is,
architect, you have to know a lot about Gen AI. If you just say Gen AI architect, because Gen AI has got these RAG models,
ah,
reference architectures, and all those things. So
no,
you
no,
have to.
I'm just taking an example, but
Okay, okay. Yeah,
at least on an, something like if
yeah,
there
yeah.
is
True, true.
anything on the digital side or anything on the digital
Sure,
transformation
sure,
side
sure.
or anything on that,
I got it. Okay, I got it.
at least
Because
they
you
should
didn't
say,
mention Gen AI, that's
yeah,
the reason I
yeah,
said why
yeah, yeah,
suddenly you
understood.
jump into Gen, because
Yeah,
that requires good amount of preparation from your side,
yes, yes, understand.
and it will not be that easy a jump.
Yeah,
So because if you have to do that, but other things you can definitely cover.
yeah, definitely. I think that's where I think I just need to be a face towards my business leaders and talk to them confidently, as you said, present them and showcase them. And other side, I also lead a team of technical engineers who can understand the way I
And make one
explain
or
them.
two, I'll help you write one or two white papers. I'll help
Hmm.
you write, make presentations, one or two of them. So keep doing this over a period of time. Your confidence will get boosted.
Okay, fine, Kiran.